Hey, what's going on everyone? This is Mike Kollin at MikeKollin.com, and this is another song from Sammy. I'll put the link to this video in the description.
I'm standing still while everything's moving, disconnected, misunderstood. Where is the real me hiding? I'm lost and it kills me inside.
Okay, so this video is going to be about knowing what is important to you when it comes to life and when it comes to love. It's a pretty intense song, isn't it? I'm going to lower the volume now. So the YouTube channel is S.A.M.I with no period at the end. Her name is Sammy. So that's her YouTube channel. She's the one who makes these songs. I'm going to leave a link and information to her channel so you can go to this song, and she made a song for me which I had some videos earlier than this. What I'm going to do is take some video of me riding my bike. I'm going to add the music to it so you can just listen to the whole song, and I'm always going to leave a link. Like, I'm going to leave a link for this one, so if you just want to go and watch this video and listen, it's a great song. At the end of this video I'm making here, I'm going to let the song just play probably for halfway to the very end, okay? So you can listen to it if you want. So I think a lot of people on this channel, and I'm including myself, we've been hurt emotionally, and I think a lot of people have, period. I think that's just part of life. But I think some of us have been hurt to an extent where you could call it, I don't like to use this word because I think some people dramatize it too much, but I think we've been emotionally traumatized when it comes to love and relationships to the point where we just don't want to have nothing to do with it. I do believe right now we are in the middle of a turning of that. I think a lot of us are going to start coming back to love. I believe we're literally right in the middle of the month of that. It's happening right now to about another month. So I want to give you some ideas of what you can do, because in the past you didn't. Okay, when you really understand what it means to you, what love is to you, and then you can actually write it out, well, the next person you can date, like, yeah, they're not going to meet this thing here, this what I need to be loved, what I need in a relationship, because we're different. And when you start seeing this, it'll start making it a lot easier. Okay, I'm going to turn the music down a little bit more in about 5 seconds.
Pretty cool glasses, actually. They look really well.
This is me riding my bike in the marina in San Francisco. Really beautiful area, very nice homes, the beach, just everything about it's just beautiful. Okay, so the work that I do gets people unstuck and it gets them unparalyzed. A lot of people get hurt and traumatized so badly that they kind of freeze up and they don't go after their dreams anymore. A lot of people, I forget, it was a long time ago, maybe I was in college, but there was psychology class or something, but they say the average person by the time they're 25, they've already given up on their dreams, they've already shut down, they've just said, okay, I've got a job, I'm going to pay the rent or the bills, and that's it. And they pretty much don't strive for anything else, let alone love. So one of the biggest things I do with people come to me a lot with heartbreak. I mean, they are just emotionally devastated. They haven't dated in a year, 2 years, and they can't get over someone, or they just can't get over the hurt and pain they felt, and suffered in life, whether it was from family love or a relationship, an intimate relationship love. I've never made a ton of money I have had some months here and there, like 5 or 6, 7 months, streak where I would make a, tremendous amount of money. It was fun. It was awesome. It was amazing. And during that time in my life, there'd be periods here and there. So there was a period, probably 9 years, where life was just good. It was just fun. I was going out. I was doing seminars and trainings and one-on-one coaching, 5-day trainings, 6-day trainings, etc. I was traveling to San Diego, Los Angeles, Kansas, Washington, D.C., etc., all over the place. And it was an amazing experience. But there was one thing that was missing, and that was true love. Somebody that I was just truly, deeply in love with. We've all went through that narcissist thing. So about 6, 7 years ago, a lot of people were really going, because here's what happened. Essentially, the earth became so depraved that they just felt like, oh, it's like they were like, we can do whatever we want. They can't see us. Well, we started waking up, and they didn't realize that we could see. Even when we would tell them, like, oh, I'll just lie to them again. They'll go back to sleep. I'll just blah, 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 I'll blur them up again. And we're like, nope, still see it. And it was really shocking to see it as clearly as we saw it. So one of the things is narcissists will just delusionalize themselves. And I remember just going, man, this person's so delusional. They literally think that they're just going to tell me, oh, what you saw you didn't see, you didn't hear what you heard, and it wasn't what. And I remember just looking at this person going like, are you on? And I literally said, are you on drugs? I did see it. I did hear it. I know exactly what you did. So waking up to that was hurt. It was traumatizing. It was painful. It was terrorizing. It was, and a lot of us didn't date. We were done. We cut a lot of people out of our lives. We were so, I don't know. I don't want to use the word damaged emotionally, but we were hurt. We were scared. We were like, what the hell is going on? And we're like, F that. I'll never date again. And a lot of us didn't date for 5+ years. And a certain percentage of you got divorced during that same period of time over the last 6, 7+ years. I believe strongly that was a healing period, a learning period, a developing period, and an awakening period. I believe it was a tremendous spiritual growth period of time. Now, you should be at the point now where you are kind of going, I think I might want to date again. So here's the difference. You know the red flags of narcissist abuse. Now we're learning about red flags about avoidance. But avoidance, number one, they're not doing it to hurt you. Number two, they can be healed. That's the good news when it comes to avoidance. So essentially, I shut down to the point where I remember saying, like, well, how can I be a dating relationship coach if I'm not even willing to date or, get into a relationship myself? I was like, no, I'm going home alone. I'm being alone. I'm not having any sex. What do you call it when you don't have sex? It's called, what's the word? Celibate, I think, is the word. So here's what happened with me. This is something that I think this is a really powerful experience, and it really changed my life. So, and I'm going to add something at the end of this, some questions I'm going to give you guys, okay? So here's what happened. I was going across the Golden Gate Bridge. I was actually on my way home. That's right. I was just about to wrap. I wrapped underneath the bridge. I was just coming around that curve. And there was a young lady there, a young Asian girl, about 22, something like that. I don't know exactly. I didn't ask her. And she was really, I could tell like something was wrong. And I go, are you okay? And she was all by herself. I go, do you need help? And she's like, I can't find my purse and I left it, blah, blah, blah. I don't know where I left it. And like, well, let's go look for it. She goes, well, some people said they got it. They're bringing it to me. So I'm like, well, okay. Do you want me to wait with you? And she kind of like, yeah. And I'm like, well, have you tried to call your phone? She's like, well, yeah, that's how I know they have it. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, but she was like really like staring at me like, oh, do you want to use my phone to call out? She's like, yes. So she called it. They didn't answer. And she goes, I go, well, let's wait, a couple more minutes, 5 minutes and do it again. And I could tell a minute later she was just staring at me like, you want to call it? She was, yes. And so she called it. And what happened was the people were just walking underneath the bridge to the curve, the circle that wraps back around up on top of the bridge. And they said, oh, we're, just on the other side. I'm like, well, where are you? Because she's really straight. And they were just taking there was a family, good family. But man, they were just taking their time. And apparently it had been about 20 minutes since she talked to them. And it was a young Asian girl. And she was actually from, I think it was Taiwan or from China. She was here studying at UC Berkeley, studying a new form of psychology, which I thought was interesting because I told her what I did. So anyways, what happened was they came up and she's like, oh, thank you. And they're hugging her and she's hugging them. And then they left and she just gave me the biggest hug out of nowhere. And it caught me off guard. I was like, whoa. And she just held to me and put her head to my chest. And it felt really good. Now, here's the really weird thing. Butterflies went into me. And I mean, it was like little white, happy, clear or pure white round balls of smiley faces. Like they went inside my chest and my solar plexus. I'm like, whoa, like, what is this? So we talked for a little bit, and she had someone there with her to take her home, or take her to their hotel. And I left, and I'm like, wow, this is just like, there's like these little bouncy balls of happiness and joy and love, and it was just amazing. And here's the thing, I've never felt anything like that before. That was cool. So I'm going across the bridge and I'm still feeling, I'm like, what is this? And I'm halfway across the bridge. I finally stop. I'm just tuned into what is this happiness? Well, this was something that led me up to the next period in my life, the next phase of what was supposed to happen. So I rode my bike all the way home. I normally, especially in winter, I'll take a bus about halfway home because it's just so cold. But I was in such a good mood. I went all the way home. And you got to understand, this is like by car. It's like a 17-minute drive. By bicycle, it's about not quite a 2-hour trip, especially on a fixie. So probably about an hour and a half. I get home and I still have that kind of bubbly, bouncy, energy inside me. And then the next morning I wake up, I'm like, God, what is this? And it was love. It was happiness, joy, and love. And here's the thing. I do energy healing, but man, I've never really, at this level of consciousness, experienced the transfer of energy from one person to the other. Obviously, we all experience it. Obviously, I've felt it before. But this was on another level. This was different. Now, here's the deal. That was about 2 months of me riding my bike to the Golden Gate Bridge and back, and then eventually going down to the marina. And it was kind of like my time for me. This was my happy space. This was my happy world. I found a new thing that just blew my mind, and yet I've been living here for 23 years. Never thought to ride my bike across the Golden Gate Bridge into the marina, and man, did this just, my whole world turned around. So I've been doing it twice a week for, I think now it's about 2 years now. About 2 years now. By the way, it was last year, January, when this young lady, I helped her get her phone, and she gave me that hug. Literally, it was last year, January, exactly. So I went from this kind of, you could say, stoic person, because I could tell, when I go to coffee shops, I would just order my hot chocolate and sit down and read my book for about an hour and a half. And I've been reading NLP books again, so that's what I've been doing for 2 years now. That's part of the journey, right? When I go into the city, I set some time aside and I go to this coffee shop, I read, and I didn't talk to anyone. And if someone tried to start a conversation, I'd say something quick and go right back to reading. I just had my walls up. I'm in my happy space. I'm finally in a good space in life. It's been this way for a while. I'm not messing it up. And I wasn't dating, and I'm completely still celibate to this point. Now, after meeting this young lady, she gave me that hug. Everything changed. I started talking to people. I started opening up to people. These two young ladies, oh, can you walk us across the Golden Gate Bridge? I'm like, why? She goes, we're scared. I'm like, yeah, sure. What the hell? So I turned around. We went across the Golden Gate Bridge, and they had so much fun. And they ended up exchanging numbers, and they said, hey, we want to rent bikes, in 2 days. Can you meet us here again and go across with us? And I did. I was like, yeah, absolutely, sure. And the thing is, I actually met their mother, because they traveled from, I think it was, I'd be guessing, but I want to say it was Michigan, but I don't remember. They came from some university. So anyway, long story short, I met their mother. I said, hey, I will look out for them. I'll take care of them, et cetera, et cetera. So I got my 2 little puppies, and we're doing this thing. So all of a sudden, I'm just socializing with people. I'm talking to people again. I'm opening up and blah, blah, blah. and life became alive. And then I met this young lady, probably a month after that. I don't remember exactly, but approximately a month after that. I'm not really sure. So here's the deal. We hit it off right away. I mean, it was a real, like, she came up to me. She brought me my hot chocolate. It was kind of like, well, why are you bringing it out here to me? And it was obvious. And so I kind of had my guard up because I wasn't really open to dating yet. But she broke right through that, like the Kool-Aid man. The Kool-Aid man comes crashing through. And at one point, I was like, you know what? Just go with it, Mike. And after a few weeks, maybe a month, I realized if I wouldn't have met that girl on the Golden Gate Bridge who gave me those little happy smiley faces, the little happy, joyful, loving, bubbles or whatever you call it, I wouldn't have opened up to this girl at all. Now, here's the thing. Because of this young lady, I would have never in a million years thought I was going to get married. I never thought that I would be open to getting married. And that's where I'm at now. Oh, by the way, when I said my 2 little puppies, I meant those young ladies where their mother entrusted me to take care of them. They were like my little puppies, and it was a really cute experience. So, what I want to say first before we get into the questions that I'm going to ask you is don't be surprised if a gift from an angel comes to you out of left field. And that's how it happens. It's out of left field. It's completely when you unexpect it, and it will touch your heart. It will open you up again. It'll bring back the happiness. It'll bring back the joy. Okay, so part 2. So I want to ask you guys a question, and I'm going to give you my answer for me. And there is no right answer. It's whatever your answer is. What is the most important thing to you in life? I mean, the absolute most important thing. Now, I'm kind of afraid to give my answer because I think a lot of you go, oh, well, I got to say that. No, I'm telling you, I don't care if you say money. I don't care if you say God, religion, art, creativity. Whatever is most important to you, like the thing that you can't live without. So go ahead and type it into the comment section. I'm going to tell you what mine is. So for me, it's love. Absolute, complete, head over heels falling in love. Just being in love with someone, heart and soul. And I mean, that's my answer. I'm going to go a little bit deeper than that in a second. So the next part of that question, and this is really, really important to you. How do you know that you're receiving that? Okay, so I'm going to go with me. So my answer is love. So I like to make money, but I'm using that word on purpose, but without love, without someone there, someone to hug and to hold, and I'm already giving away my answers actually. I'm going to get back to that. I realized over the years, so that 5 years when I was alone, and I do believe that the alone period of time is very, very important for you to reconnect with yourself and then bring your wholeness into a relationship. See, most people have empty holes inside them and they've never completed themselves, and they bring this emptiness into another person, expecting that person to fill your emptiness. No, it's supposed to be 2 complete people coming together as one. I think the Western culture, we have this idea of, oh, you complete me. And I think there is an emotional truth to that. But I think really you need to connect, reconnect, and complete yourself, fulfill yourself, and then bring that wholeness into a relationship with another person who is truly emotionally grounded and down to earth and connected to themselves as well. That is a whole and complete relationship. So here's the next question. So let's say you have what yours is. So for me, it's love. How do you know when you are receiving love, because receiving love is different for everyone. So the number one thing I would throw at you is what we call the deep love strategy in NLP, visual, auditory, kinesthetic. So some people receive love visually. They need to see it. And a lot of people are like, oh, yeah, that's the greedy women that need money and you got to spend a lot. No. You could literally write a smiley face on a piece of paper and say, I love you, crumple it up and have her open it up and she will freaking melt. Most women will cry. If they are truly visual, have a visual deep love strategy, they will cry when you do this. It'll be the most loving, intimate, emotional moment that you can experience with them. The next one is auditory. You could buy them a Mercedes-Benz, you could buy them $1 million home, but if you don't tell them that you love them, if they don't hear it with their ears out of your mouth, if they don't hear it, they'll never feel loved. Just like a visual person, if you don't show them, if you hug them and you say 1,000,000 times, I love you, it's not going to it's not going to push their love button. So the third one is kinesthetic. These are the people that need to be touched and hugged, and they like to lean on you when they're sitting next to them, or you lean on them, and they like to hold hands and cuddle and snuggle. Now, people who are not kinesthetic, oh, those people are clingy, and that's what we've been labeled. I'm a kinesthetic person, by the way, touch and hug. We've been labeled as clingy. When it turns out that's not clingy. It's that if you don't like to cuddle and snuggle, if someone does, dude, get away from me. What are you doing? And to a kinesthetic person, watching visual people express their love, it's like, wow, they don't know what love is. Because that's what it really looks like to us, because you guys don't hug. Now, there are a lot of people that don't hug, not necessarily because they don't have a kinesthetic love strategy, but it's because they've been emotionally damaged and they don't want to open up emotionally. Now, a lot of what this is basically describing an avoidant. These people do not want it. It's like, okay, now here's the funny thing. They want physical affection, but they don't, because they don't want to open up emotionally, so they don't. So there's a real conflict with avoidance. They want to be deeply loved, but the minute they open up, they run. Like, usually the first time you start making love to them or about to, they'll close up. Even if they follow through the act, you can feel it. Their body just shuts down. Like, you're like, what's wrong? And they'll probably never come back after that. Because once an avoidant opens up, they're like, oh God, I'm scared. And they run. So they have a real conflict. So in my case, this young lady, she loved to cuddle puppies. Now you have to understand, and at first I was like, I can't understand this. Like, that doesn't make sense. So I realized she loves physical affection, but not when there is what's the word I'm looking for? An intimate emotional bond. And that's the thing. Now with this person, she goes, well, by the way, if we do get together, you're going to have a puppy. I'm like, why? I'm like, why don't you get a puppy? She's like, oh, no, I don't want that responsibility. What it really is I don't want that bond. And a lot of things with avoidance, they don't want responsibility for other people because it brings them back to their childhood where they were responsible for everyone in the family. So they're like, no, I don't want that. And this is why they want freedom, because they were so burdened at such a young age. And when they finally get free, they're like, I'm done with that. I do not want to be responsible for other people's happiness or, their work or, their homework or whatever. So with this person, hugging puppies or, small dogs or whatever, she was happy as hell. It was the most, because it was a quick hug, and it's like she could feel emotional love, intimacy with the dog, because there's no demands. The dog's not going to control her. You have to be this way. You have to do this. There's no responsibility. There's no taking care of their burdens. So it's like this love, and then boom, I get to go on with my life. So here's the challenge. A lot of you got into relationships with narcissists or people that were not emotionally available. And the reason why you got so damaged for such a length and or long period of time is because you didn't consciously know, what do I need to absolutely know that I am loved, that I'm receiving what I want out of the relationship. You have to write that down. So now let's include the 5 love languages. Well, the first 3 come from NLP, deep love strategy. Visual, you need to see it. Whether it's they take you out to dinner, they write a cute note for you, leave it on the refrigerator so you can see it and read it with your eyes. It could be a little flower. It could be, a gift, something that you can see. Auditory people need to hear it. It could be I love you. It could be the cute little names like cutie pie, sweetie, honey, all that stuff. Like I used to call my goddaughter Pumpkinhead because it was kind of like our cute little thing. And no matter how sad she was, I'd give her a hug, kiss her on the top of her head, and I would say, "It's okay, Pumpkinhead." And she would just, no matter how sad she was, it would pop her out of it and she would smile. Now me, I'm kinesthetic. I need to be hugged. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you date a kinesthetic person and you don't hug them and cuddle them on a absolute regular basis every time you're with them, every time you see them, every time you go for a walk, I am telling you, they're not going to feel loved, and they're going to feel like, why are you holding back? And why won't you love me? And why do you only give it to me once in a while? And I meant hugs and cuddles and hand holding and all that. I'm telling you, if you are not a kinesthetic person, do not be with a kinesthetic person who needs touch and affection. That's kinesthetic. Don't do it because you're just going to make that person miserable. And you're going to be miserable with them trying to hug you all the time. Now, here's the deal. If you are with someone who has a different deep love strategy, all you have to do is do it their way once in a while, like visual, show them, write a cute little note. And I wouldn't say once in a while, but kind of it pretty much has to be consistent. So let's move on to the other ones. One is time together. Okay, this is the 5 love languages. So now we're going to the 4th one. Time together. They need to be with you a certain amount of time. Now, I think I have that too, because when I imagine getting married, like they're going to go on to the seminars to other cities with me. I'm not going to just be gone for a week, or however long, and do this every month and not be with them. That's just not going to happen. They're going to be with me. Now, the other one is acts of service. Now, here's the interesting thing. A lot of avoidants do acts of service. In fact, that's one of the things that kind of melted my heart with this young lady was we went to Pete's Coffee and she pulled the chair out for me, and I was like, okay, that's different. No one's ever done that for me. And then she grabbed my bag and she went underneath the counter and she hooked it up. There was a hook on there, and I didn't know that because I was kind of looking around like where I'm going to put my bag. And she just grabbed it and did that, and I'm like something about that, like it melted my heart. It made me feel loved. Now, this is one thing they'll tell you about avoidance is they don't, the way you love an avoidant is acts of service. They like it when you do things like if you know they like strawberry shakes, then order it for them without asking them. Or if you know that they're looking for a place to hang their bag, well, just, grab it and do it for them without asking them. It really makes them feel loved. So they also receive acts of service as an act of love. Now, why do you think avoidance are acts of service and not kinesthetic? Because the number one thing about avoidance is they don't want to open up emotionally because it traumatizes them, it brings up their trauma, and it brings up all this fear, and they run. But acts of service is kind of a dissociated, disconnected way of saying, hey, I love you, without opening up emotionally. Now, here's the kind of funny, ironic thing about this. I am the most deepest, emotionally loving person on the planet, period, end of sentence, and this avoidant gets with me. I remember afterward, once I started learning about avoidant behavior, I thought, wow, it is and isn't true. I'm like the worst possible matchup for an avoidant because see, here's the deal. What I do with people when I go out in public, I open them up just by being in their presence because I'm so open emotionally. My heart chakra is so it's expanded out beyond my body, up beyond the ceiling in a circle, expanding left and right, front and back, up and down. So when I get into people's spaces, after a period of time, even if I'm just sitting there and there are 2 tables over, they will open up. Now, if this is a person that does not like themselves, does not like who they are, something about themselves, it'll open them up to that, and they will hate me for it. And even if I've never even looked at them. Now, the people who want to be loved or want to feel this, they'll love me. Now, again, here's the thing about avoidance is the reason why she approached me was because she wanted to feel that love so bad. And yet at the same time is so terrified of it that she runs away from it once she does. Now, it's not just her. This is an avoidant thing. Now, if she could be healed of this, which I believe she's going through the process, she will finally open up to being loved in the way that she wants to truly be loved, which is affection and physical affection. So now let's write down some other things, okay? Now, by the way, I think there's another one that was discovered, and I mentioned it in the video, and then I heard later, like, yeah, that's another deep love. Like, they're saying that that's another love language, and I can't remember what it is right now. So let me use me as an example. So another thing with me, I'm a very sensual kind of person. I have to be sensual to someone. It's got to be soft. It's got to be smooth. It's got to be sensual. It's got to be comfortable. It's got to be loving. And there's another part about it for me, and I didn't know this until recently. I like cute. I don't know what it is, but I love cute. And I think and people like, I remember like even women or young ladies, you know, when I was in high school or college would say like, that's weird because you're such a masculine guy. And I'm like, I don't know. I like cute. And here's the thing, cute things, cute gifts, cute voices, cute thoughts. And now and here's the thing, this may not be your thing. But if I'm in a relationship, if I don't have this kind of cute little thing going back and forth, it's never going to work. And not only that, but I'm not going to be truly happy. Now, I'm someone who is comfortable with my childlike nature, especially in a personal, one-to-one basis. I think having fun and letting go of being serious is a very, very important part of life. It's an important part of, raising kids. I think it's an important part of a relationship. Now, that's just me. Maybe that's not you. So here's the deal. Write these things down. Write it down. What is my deep love strategy or my love language? What's the most important thing to me? What do I absolutely have to have in order to know that I'm loved? And if I don't get this, it's not love to me. So why even be in a relationship? Now here's the thing. If you were to stick to this, narcissists will be revealed really fast because you're like, they're not doing this. And they did in the beginning and they stopped. Right there, you're like, okay, I'm gone. But because you didn't and you thought, well, I'm going to try to get them to do this, that's where you made a mistake. Now here's another thing. If you're with an avoidant, you're going to figure out real fast. Now here's the thing. You may not know they're narcissist. You may not know they're an avoidant or, whatever. And again, it doesn't have to be any of these things, but just someone who just doesn't meet your needs. You're going to, if you write it down, like, this is what I have to have in a relationship. If you don't get it, you're like, yeah, it's not working, so I'm gone. Versus 7 years or some, I've talked to people on the phone like, I was married for 28 years to this person. And I never received a hug once we got married, or I never received whatever once before they did it, but then they stopped. And I was begging them to do that, or we had counseling and, blah, blah, blah. Now, here's the thing. If someone learns your deep love strategy, they can do it. And this is why you teach people like, hey, you're a visual guy. You're married to an auditory person. This is why you feel like you're not loved, because they keep telling you how much they love you. But that doesn't push your button. Your button is connected to your visual nervous system. So they got to push the visual button. And now you know you're loved. Now you feel loved. And then an auditory person, your system's connected to the auditory system. And that's your love button. So we can learn to push each other's love button to see if you really love your partner, you will do this. And when you see how much they melt, it'll inspire you. It'll make you want to do this more. All right, so my high school girlfriend was very visual. I tend to date women that are very visual. And in the beginning, we do all of them. We hug, or, we buy them dinner, we buy them flowers, and draw a little cute. My high school girlfriend, we had this little thing called a pookie ball. We draw a circle, little smile, little lines all the way around it. Like a little puffy pookie ball. So we had all these little things. We did visual, auditory, kinesthetic, acts of service. Time together. We were doing all of them. But then what happens is after about a year or so, maybe less, you revert back to only what you are. So if you're visual, you'll show them. If you're kinesthetic, you'll hug them. Well, what ended up happening was she got pissed off one day, made a real big deal of it on campus in front of everyone. You don't love me. Not going to go in the whole story, but there was about 200 people like circled up really fast. You know how like when a fight happens, like everyone just joins a circle real fast. It was like within seconds. And I'm like, what are you talking about? What do? I went to hug her, and boom, both open palms. She slammed into my chest, pushed me away. You don't love me. That's not love. I'm like, what do you mean? I love you. And even one of my buddies stood up for me. What are you talking about? He's trying to show you in front of everyone right now. Because, see, he was probably visual and was seeing me physically gonna hug her in expression of love. But to her, she needed to see it. Now, I remember going home after school thinking, man, I'm broke. I don't have a job. I'm in high school. I'm on a football team. I don't have time to work. And I had like $7 in my pocket. And I remember I walked in, and my friend's sister used to work at the ranch market too, Tammy. She goes, what's wrong, Mike? And I was like, my girlfriend says I don't love her and I don't know what to do and blah, blah. She goes, well, just get her something. I'm like, but I don't have hardly any money. Now, she's like, well, you don't have to buy something expensive, because that's what I thought she was saying. Like I was going to have to buy like $100 of roses or taking her out to a $200 dinner or, something like that. So she goes, well, do you guys have like a thing? I'm like, what do you mean? She goes, some cute little thing. I go, well, we have this little pookie ball. She goes, no, I mean, just like maybe like something you eat together or something you this and that. And here's the funny thing. Right in front of us on the counter was the German, by the company Heidi, gummy bears. They're the original ones, and they come in this little package. And I'm like, well, that's our thing right there. And she goes, well, get her that. And I looked at her like, this isn't gonna work. She goes, no, Michael, get her this. Now here's the thing. Back then, that little package was probably 65 cents or maybe even cheaper. It wasn't much at all. She goes, and then go over there, get one of those little plastic, square containers. It was kind of rectangle, kind of tall. And you pull off the top. She was here, and she cut it open. She poured the gummy bears in there, and she taped the sides. And then she was go over there and just get a card. Now back then, like a birthday card or whatever, Valentine's card, they were like 15 cents or something. I don't remember, 10 cents, 25 cents, whatever. Super cheap. And so then she goes, now get a bow. And then I remember the bow was 10 cents. She goes, get a bow. And she put it on. She took the sticky paper off and stuck it to the top. She goes, there. Now write something cute and loving and write your name and say, I love you. Put a little heart. And then give her that. And I remember, and it literally cost like $3.75 or for everything. I forget what. And I still had money left over. And I looked at it. She goes, no, Michael, trust me. This is going to work. And I'm thinking, this is not going to work. So I went home, and I remember I put it in my brand new block jacket, high school football block jacket, and I put it inside the pocket. There was inside pockets on each side, and I put the card in one, because one was a big pocket, the other one's smaller, and little square rectangle. It was about 6 inches high, I guess, and about 3 inches wide. Maybe, something like that. And I put it in the other pocket. And I remember going to school the next day. I had this. I went to class like that, and after second period, she was waiting out there on the quad, and there was literally more than 200 people, and it was a circle, and I walked through, and people, it was like, Moses parted the Red Sea, and everyone just kind of parted, and I'm walking through, and she's pissed, and she's got her arms fucking crossed, excuse my language, but she's pissed, I cuss because she's looking at me, and I'm going, this isn't going to work. And here's the thing, I didn't care if everyone saw me get rejected. I did not care. I love this girl so much. And I remember I walked through the parting of the Red Sea closed. I'm in this encircled thing of people, and I go to hug her, and boom! No, that's not what happened. Wait, I think it actually did happen. Yes, she did push me away again, even harder. And I remember I looked down thinking, oh, it's over. And I was so sad. And I reached into my jacket to grab the gummy bears, and I just grabbed them, and I didn't even pull them out yet. She didn't even see it, but she was about to see it. Boom! That pushed her love strategy. That pushed her love button. Next thing you know, I'm kind of looking down, and I see something come at me real quick, and I look up like, oh shit. And I thought it was a fight. I thought someone was going to punch me, and it's her jumping in the air to give me a hug, and I opened my arms and I caught her, and she's, I love you, and she's crying, and and everyone's clapping, and oh, there you are, everything was great. Now here's the deal. Even though she didn't see it, she was about to see it. What I'm trying to explain to you is our deep love strategies are so powerful that she didn't necessarily need to see anything. It didn't matter what I was going to show her. All that mattered was that I was going to show her. That's love to her. And then what did she do fully, completely, 100,000%? She hugged me. She pushed my deep love strategy. She pushed my love button. Because on an unconscious level, she knows that's what makes me feel loved. Isn't that interesting? Okay, so if you got this far, number one, here's what I want you to do. I want you to write down in the comment section, what is the most important thing to you in life? Or what is the most important thing to you in relationships? Number two, write down, how do you know when you're receiving that? Give the details. Write other things around that. Like for me, it was cute and sensual and soft and warm, cuddly, snuggly, sweet, You've got to write this stuff down so you know that you're loved. And that you're with someone who's answering that. And you can also say, hey, I need this. And if they're like, oh, grumpy, and they don't do it, say, yeah, this isn't going to work. So you don't have to stop wasting your time being empty and damaged in relationships where you're not receiving love in the way that you need to receive it. See, a lot of people do love you, and they really do love you. Just like me and my girlfriend, I loved her with all my heart. She really didn't believe I did at that point in the relationship. Because she's thinking, well, you never show me anything. Because I was always hugging her. To me, that was love. So somebody could be truly madly head over heels in love with you. But if they don't realize how important this is to you, or if they're not willing to do it, yeah, there's going to be a problem. But you can tell them. And if they're still like, yeah, I'm not really into it, then be like, hey, this isn't working. All right, so here's the deal. If you want to learn what your deep love strategy is, there's actually a process that I can take you through so you absolutely know what your deep love strategy is. So if it's not super clear already, I can show you how to get there. I'll show you what it is. It's pretty much, works every time, okay? Because it's a very direct way to get you there. Specific steps and sentences and questions to get you there. And then you'll know it. It's important to know what it is. And then we can work on the other stuff like, well, what else is important to you? How do you know? Like, what do you need in a relationship? So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to offer an unbelievably cheap price. I will go as low as $50 if you want to do this. Normally I charge $250 per session, so $50 is extremely cheap. So I'll do a complete session with you. It'll be a minimum hour and a half. We can go as far as 2 hours, 2.5 hours. We can find your deep love strategy first, and then after that, whatever, then we'll work on the details around that, and then whatever you want to work out, something will probably pop up. And then we can talk about that. Okay, so who knows? We may end up going into some kind of reframing or timeline therapy session or, something like that. All right, that's it, guys. Sorry for the long video, but I thought it was kind of a complete video. That's it, guys. If you like the video, please click subscribe, click the like button, go ahead and make a comment. And as always, you can support this channel in 2 ways. Number one, buy one of my dating relationship coaching books. Number two, there's a PayPal link right there in the description box where you can go ahead and leave a donation. And thirdly, I guess technically, is you can hire me for coaching. All right, guys, I'll see you in the next video. You can go to mike@mikekollin.com, or you can call me at this number, 415-235-2512.